Your junior warden here, and I'm going to welcome Danielle Amrine from the Welcome House of Northern Kentucky. Danny has been the CEO at Welcome House for how many years? 4. Okay. I had the honor of serving on the board when she came on. So we're really excited to welcome her and hear what she has to say. So.
Yep. Thank you, Katie, and good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for having me. This is such an honor. We were just here on Friday having our Christmas party for our staff, so we appreciate all of your support, and we're really excited to come share a little bit about what we do today. Like Katie said, I'm Danielle Amrine. I have been with the organization for the last 4 years. Prior to that, I was at the Council on Aging, providing elderly services. I was Vice President of Medicaid Operations for that organization for about 13 years. And then before that, I was at the American Red Cross. So very excited to be here in Kentucky, providing services. So a little bit about our organization. I'm sure most of you have heard of Welcome House since we've been in the community for over 4 years. We were founded by Father Mertes back in the early 1980s, providing services for those in poverty. Really started focusing on families, women, and children, and our shelter opened, and then our representative payee program opened soon after that. And fortunately, we still have both of those programs. Last year alone, we served over 2,770 individuals in our programs. It's hard to believe that there are that many people that are in need in our community, but the need is growing, largely due to the pandemic and some ramifications of job loss and people not being able to double up and stay with other people. So we have seen over the last 2 years new families entering into our homeless system, but also families that are looking to shelter together. So they're staying in storage units and they're choosing to stay in their car. So I'll kind of give you a little overview of Welcome House services, all of the services that we provide, and then I will open up to some Q&A. Welcome House, we have about 60 employees, over 23 federal grants that we manage. Our services are broken down into 2 different service lines. One department is called Homeless Solutions, and that addresses some of the more acute homeless issues. So in that program, we have our street outreach and our medical street outreach. So we have street outreach workers that go out into the encampments, on the riverbanks, back into the woods, meeting with people, building relationships, giving tents, sleeping bags, food, water. And then we have medical street outreach, and that is a nurse practitioner and a nurse that goes out and provides free health care to the community. We have a lot of people that suffer from mental health diagnoses or substance abuse, and sometimes they don't have a trusting relationship with a healthcare provider. And unfortunately, the life expectancy for our friends who have been outside is around age 50. So they typically do not live very long. They have a lot of comorbidities, a lot of physical problems, possibly some substance abuse and mental health issues. So we do have a medical RV. I don't know if you've ever seen it traveling around here in Covington or out to the outer line counties. We go to Boone, Kenton, and Campbell libraries and some soup kitchens. And our street outreach workers, in addition to our medical staff, we've got the RV that's retrofitted. It has an exam table. We've got medical supplies. We have insulin. Our nurse practitioner can order x-rays, she can prescribe medications, she can do follow-up treatment. We feel like this is a very necessary service to our community, and we're really grateful for the opportunity to be able to provide that. So outside of street outreach, which generally makes referrals, we have service coordination, so that is the case management services that individuals, women, children, men, basically anybody in the community, birth on up, can receive service coordination assistance, and that's where we help people break down barriers. We meet people where they are, so if they're looking for a job, we help them apply. We might help get them steel-toed boots. We might need to get them uniforms or shoes. If they need help getting in housing, we'll help them apply for housing applications, get on housing lists. If they need a lot of what we typically see when people first come to us is, they've moved around a lot. They usually end up losing their belongings or they get their belongings stolen. So they usually don't even have just the minimum necessary paperwork to even apply for a job. So we get them Social Security cards, birth certificates, IDs, pretty much anything that we can to help get them into services and break down some of those barriers. Then we have our shelter for women and children, which is what most people know us for. Pre-pandemic, we were able to serve up to 34 women and children at a time. And now we're around 25 to allow for some social distancing and some isolation. However, we are building a brand new shelter and new facility over on the corner of 12th and Greeno. So we will no longer be at our 2 locations in Pike Street probably in February of next year. This opportunity came up because the Juvenile Square development that is going on, they need that area right next to our building. Our shelter is pretty much the only building still left on that block. And they're going to build a parking garage. So we worked with the city to allow us to move to a new location, and with generous donations like from your congregations and private donors, we've raised almost probably $10 million to be able to purchase the land and build a brand new facility, and that facility will also double our sheltering capacity. Right now we're only able to shelter up to 34, like I said, pre-pandemic women and children, and that's also people who can't do stairs, unfortunately, because our shelter is 3 stories. The bedrooms are on the 2nd and 3rd floor. So anybody who is handicapped or in a wheelchair, we're not able to bring them into services, which is absolutely heartbreaking. So our new facility is going to be state-of-the-art, all on the 1st floor, handicap accessible. We're really, really excited. Like I said, that should be coming February of 2023. In addition to, as our street outreach teams are out in the community, we started noticing that there was a lot of men with kids, and there's no place for them to go in Northern Kentucky. So if you're a dad and you have kids, there's really no place that you could go and shelter in Northern Kentucky. Also, a lot of 2-parent families. We do have Family Promise in our community, but unfortunately, right around the pandemic, they had shut down. So in January 2019, we were approached with the opportunity to acquire Family Promise, which Family Promise is a faith-based sheltering system in the Northern Kentucky area that really helps with 2-parent families, also single families. So we acquired them in January 2019, where we just purchased a building to be able to shelter dads with kids and 2-parent families at another separate location until our new building is done. So in our new building, we have 1 wing for single moms and single women, and then the other side will be able to house 4 families, either dads with kids, 2-parent families, or additional overflow for 2-parent families. So we're really, really excited about that. It's been a long time coming. The building that we're currently sheltering in, like I said, is not handicap accessible. It was also built in the late 1800s for the railroad workers who were putting in the railroad tracks through here. So it's not meant to be a homeless shelter, but we have made it work for the last probably 35 years. So we're really excited to be able to give a brand new place for our women and kids and families so they can really be in a very nice environment, a caring and supportive environment, and move on to that next phase. In our Homeless Solutions program, we also have Social Security outreach, which helps people that we identify that could be eligible for Social Security disability benefits. Sometimes we do have a lot of people who have major cognitive disorders, MRDD, and they've just kind of gone through the system or through different family members and are outside on the street. Unfortunately, we had a lady that we were notified that she was sleeping on the mattress in her sister's backyard. Her sister had brought her up from Lexington under the guise that she was going to take care of her because she did receive a check. She was taking the check, but the sister was sleeping on a mattress outside the backyard. So we were able to intervene, work with Social Security, get that check back to her, and now we are her payee, which our representative payee program is where the money comes to Welcome House, and it still belongs to the client, but we pay all their bills, we pay their medical bills, we give them spending money, we make sure they have a savings account, we make sure that there's no issues where they're being exploited, taking advantage of. So now she is in an assisted living facility, getting the right care that she needs. She has spending money to go get her hair done every month, and to buy little trinkets and stuff for her grandkids, but that's just one example of some of our services that work together. And our other programs, so we have another department, and that's housing and supportive services. So once we've kind of gotten the acute stage, we've identified them out in the community, built relationships, got them into case management services or getting them a job, work on how to stabilize them, get them into shelter. Then what we do is pass them along to our housing and supportive services. So that's where all of our housing takes place. So you can receive an assessment, and we have two major programs. One is called permanent supportive housing, one is called rapid rehousing. Rapid rehousing is where you receive short to medium term rental assistance. So we pay your rent while you stabilize. So the goal is to move that person into self-sufficiency. So we may pay their rent, say, okay, we're gonna pay your rent for 3 months. You just got a job, we're gonna help you budget, we're gonna help you find daycare, we're gonna help you navigate now that you're employed, give you an opportunity to save up some money, and then that 4th month, maybe we'll pay half rent. And then the next month, half, to build them up so where they're paying their own rent deposit and supporting their own families. The other program is permanent supportive housing. So that is for people who are disabled. So we pay their rent indefinitely. So if you've been chronically homeless and you are disabled or someone in your home is disabled, we pay the rent ongoing. This allows people to kind of stabilize. Usually these individuals are either getting a check or in the process of applying for Social Security disability benefits. So we're able to manage those individuals. They usually have a lot of complex medical needs. So we are kind of like that family member for them. We take them to the doctor. We make sure that they're getting all their medical care. We make sure that they have food in the house, that their laundry's taken care of. Those are pretty much our family, and we take care of them. And like I said, the average life expectancy for somebody who's been chronically homeless is only age 50. So usually these individuals stay with us until they pass on. I've been with the agency, like I said, 4 years. We have 8 units of permanent supportive housing that are above my apartment, and I think we've had 1 or 2 people that have passed away every single year. And while I look at that as somewhat sad, I am very, very grateful that we were able to provide them that life. They knew what care felt like. They knew what having a bed felt like, having groceries, having that ability to be in a stable environment. And we were able to offer that to them, even though it may have only lasted a couple years. We own 93 units of affordable housing. Some of that is scattered site throughout Covington and Mainstrasse. But we do own a 20-unit apartment complex that's called Gardens at Greena, and that is for single parents. So we offer subsidized housing for single parents. We offer case management. Our goal is to help them make goals like educational attainment, career attainment, and then move them on to market rate housing. So the goal is for them not to stay in subsidized housing for a long period of time. We're really working with them on parenting. We have crock pot cooking classes, nutrition classes, healthcare classes, making sure their kids are kindergarten ready, that they're reading, that they're not getting in trouble at school. So it's very service intensive, 20 units. And then our representative payee program. So that is where we provide that representative payee. We manage over $1 million worth of client funding, client money, and make sure, like I said, all their bills are paid. We take them to the grocery store. We take them to medical appointments. Make sure that all of their bills are paid and they're not at risk of being evicted. We work with landlords to go through all those kind of issues if anything pops up to provide that eviction mitigation. And also the one shelter that I did forget that we do operate because it is so new, we have a shelter on 11th and Greenup for 10 veterans. So those are veterans that have been outside, that have been homeless. We bring them into shelter, and they are eligible for what's called HUD-VASH, which is VA Section 8 housing. So we move them along through the system. We shelter them, make sure they're connected with their VA services, benefits, and case management, because a lot of our folks don't want to go across the river. And I completely understand. So previously they had to go over across the river to get any of those services and benefits and shelter. Now they can receive it right here in Covington. So that is kind of my spiel. I'd love to take any questions that you have or any